today's moment of gratitude. It's a clip that it's a little long. We don't usually play clips this long, but this one, you're going to appreciate it, I think, once you hear it. So y'all know Reverend Otis Moss Jr., Otis Moss the third. I was like, he can't be the junior and the third. Reverend Otis Moss the third. Super dope. I came to know of him and his work through his conversations with Karen Hunter, and he's dope. Like he's in like him. Who's that? Freddie Haynes Jr. There's some pastors that are pastoring in the sort of like a Dr. Butler. What is Dr. Butler's name? The professor who is out at Pennsylvania, Anthea Butler. Dr. Anthea Butler. They do in the pulpit what I feel like she does in academia. Like they be breaking chains in a whole host of ways. And one of the things that he did recently, and I don't know if this is something he does every Sunday, but it seemed like it was because of the way he was presenting it. He gave a 5-minute discussion about some things that are changing in the atmosphere. Some things that are shifting in the balance of power and in the balance of opportunity and capacity for communities in the global majority. And he talks specifically about Ibrahim Traore and what's happening in Burkina Faso. And I'm not going to explain who Ibrahim Traore is because Reverend Otis is going to explain it. You're going to hear it directly from him. But the reason I'm playing this during the moment of gratitude, as opposed to having it be a segment that we talk about and sort of dissect, this man is speaking from the pulpit. I think he's in the pulpit. Let me not even send him my whole commentary. Let me find out he was actually at a conference. But I think he was at a pulpit. He's in the pulpit talking about the shift, the healing, the reformation, the reclamation, the growth and the expansion that countries throughout the continent of Africa are experiencing right now. And we have had so many weeks, so many months recently, like 6 or 7 or 8 since November, since forever. We've had so much time in this country not being as connected to the continent of Africa as we should be, not understanding the power of reclaiming one's spirit and reclaiming connection with one's homeland. And he does some things in this video that I think are so important, and they are hope-giving. They are faith-stirring. Like, because if all we do is focus on the negative things that we hear about here in this space, then we miss the beauty that is happening everywhere. Somebody on my YouTube page said the other day, it is a really big world. And this is not to say that we got to leave here and go in it. We just need to know we are not limited to this space, for whatever that means for you. And so I want you to take a listen as he recounts what's happening there. And then I want you to think about how we take on the same spirit of healing from trauma and thinking critically about the steps we need to take to do better, to be better people, building better communities, to shape a better world. I want you to think about the example that's being set for us on the global stage, how we incorporate those elements in our working together here in this space and within our individual lives. And we'll talk about the rest on the other side. Let's take a listen.
Today, for this 5 minutes, I want to bring our attention to Africa, specifically the country of Burkina Faso, and the rise of a Pan-Africanist movement and an African leader by the name of Ibrahim Traore. He's currently the youngest leader on the continent at the age of 35. The young African leader, who's been in power since 2022, is now partnering with former French colonial countries, namely Mali and Niger, to create what is called the Alliance of Sahel States. This work echoes the work of a person by the name of Thomas Sankara, who was the independence leader of what was then called Upper Volta, and he changed the name to Burkina Faso. It was his vision that Africa would be united economically or culturally, just as the vision which was presented through that person by the name of Kwame Nkrumah. This alliance is doing several things. Several things that you should know about. One, the alliance has kicked out all French military presence. The alliance has done a second thing, that they have changed all of the French street names in the country to African names. The court system no longer, if you are a judge or a lawyer, you do not dress with a nice little white wig and black robe anymore. You wear African garments when you stand before the people. Children are no longer required to wear British or French uniforms. They come with African garments to school. These actions are part of a larger anti-colonial move on the continent, where countries are seeking to cut off ties with Western nations unless they are equal in relationship. The majority of the world's mineral wealth comes from Africa, but African countries do not control that mineral wealth. Private countries from Europe have special arrangements with governments to extract the resources in exchange for financial or military support. Here are some other things happening on the continent. Rwanda recently outlawed skin lightening cream. That is harmful to the skin and causes cancer. Plus, they've outlawed all plastics in the country. Ghana has banned foreigners from gold trading and is taking control of the gold mines in Ghana. Ghana is now offering dual citizenship to those who are of African descent, specifically African Americans. But also this dual citizenship and naturalization is not just in Ghana, but also Nigeria, Gabon, the Cape Verde Islands, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Benin all have pathways for citizenship of people of African descent. Africa is waking up, and black people in America must wake up and build relationships, travel, and learn about Africa. This is why we have the Ubuntu Scholars Project. And we are sending 6 brilliant young people to West Africa. We are people of African descent, and a free, thriving, growing Africa is in our best interest. By 2075, half the world's population will be African. It is time for us to partner, invest, visit, for every person to be educated about the power, the wealth, potential, and extraordinary history of the continent that birthed civilization, art, architecture, math, medicine, and philosophy, and the faith that we profess. And that is my 5 minutes.
Preach, preacher. Yes, I'm pretty sure he was now in the pulpit. The reason I wanted to share that, and again, for those of you just joining, you're listening to Lurie Daniel Favors on SiriusXM's Urban View, and we are in the middle of our moment of gratitude, and that was the voice of Reverend Otis Moss III. And the reason I wanted to share that during the moment of gratitude is because when I heard it, it was a reminder as to how big and expansive and amazing our potential is. And it can be so easy to forget that we have the capacity, we have the opportunities, we have the ability to tap in to some of the most amazing things happening right now. And we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted and focus on just the devastation that's happening in this space. We need to be clear that beyond these hurdles that we see in front of us, there is a universe full of potentiality and our ability to heal ourselves, Kuji Chakalia, to reclaim our righteous minds and educate ourselves, Kuji Chakalia, to make connections and to heal the disruption that came between our relationships as people of Pan-African heritage, Kuji Chakalia. You see all this is in the spirit of Kuji Chakalia. He talked about the fact that in Burkina Faso, they have done the things of, they've taken steps to physically minimize the presence of the colonizing power in their physical presence. He said they changed all the street names. They stopped it, because I remember coming into law school and seeing images of African lawyers from a variety of countries. It wasn't just Burkina Faso, but many countries in the continent of Africa. You got beautifully, richly melanated skin, African people wearing these ugly ass old European British ass wigs, like white, just the white wig with the fake curls, just on top of their beautiful African skin. It was like, it's so ugly. It's such a symbol of colonization. And so they took that away. And now if you go to my Instagram page during a commercial break, don't go now. If you go to my Instagram page, you'll see like the images that what they used to wear and what they wear now. School children In addition to decolonizing the education system, they now no longer wear European clothing. They wear African clothing, which is going to, those things that I've just mentioned are going to help in so many ways, particularly to change the mindset of the people by simply shifting from valuing European clothing and European mannerisms and centering and valuing your own. You're not saying there's anything wrong with European clothing or mannerisms. They just don't belong to you. And what belongs to you should be the most important thing to you. He talked about the street names. At the reparations hearing this week, we learned how so many of the names of our streets are just slave owners. That was the qualification. Like how now we got WEI, and that's all you need to be qualified to work in this environment. And during the slavery era, you could get your name on the street. All you had to do was own some black people. It didn't require a whole lot. Just be a kidnapper. That's cool. That's it. And you too could be a respected member of American hierarchy. But he's talking about changing the physical embrace of colonialism. When he talks about Ghana saying, you know what, y'all, if you're not from here, you can't trade in our gold anymore. We're going to own our stuff. When he talks about how they're offering citizenship and opportunities to people across the Pan-African diaspora. And no, we're not going to say that everything in every country on the continent is correct. But when you hear that over half the world is going to be from the continent in the next 50 years, that's an indication. It's a call. It's an opportunity for us to remember and to be inspired. Be encouraged. There's so much hellishness in this small little corner of this rock. But there is way more amazing, dynamic, passionate, healing, community building, moving like ants sort of work happening in this planet. And I need us to know it because we are going to have to tap into that part of our ancestry as well. Now, yes, as Michael Harriot says, yes, or his mother said, I should say, some of us did descend. Yeah, we descended from, well, how did she say it? The way he said that she said it was, yes, some of our ancestors were enslaved. The overwhelming, and some of our ancestors were colonized, but the overwhelming vast majority of our ancestors ain't know nothing about that. What they knew was community organizing, not to protest or resist, but to build, because they were not in a constant state of resisting the oppressions that a lot of us are in the constant state of dealing with right now. Be encouraged, y'all. There's a whole lot. We're going to get into it. We got some news on the other side of the moment of gratitude. Don't worry. It's going to be plenty of news to remind you to pull your attention elsewhere. But stay rooted in encouragement. Stay rooted in realizing that we got us. Stay rooted in knowing this ain't our only option. It'd be great if we could make this work, but we're not stuck. We're not stuck. I need us to know that, because the more we know that, the bigger and more amazing and the world can be for us. And I am grateful to Reverend Otis Moss the third. I keep wanting to say junior. Is he the junior? Dang, I might have messed that up. Y'all know who he is. He be on Karen's show. He be in the pulpit. He be on Karen's show. Y'all know who he is. My bad, Pastor. I didn't mean to mess up your junior or third. I apologize. The point is this. The man was preaching. And I need those seeds of information that he planted in that conversation to plant in your heart. I need you, well, before you let them plant in your heart, I need you to fertilize the ground. I need you to make sure, till the soil, turn it over a little bit, think it through, and then let them seeds get rooted in your heart, water them, nourish them, and get them going, because those are the seeds of self-determination that we really need to tap into on a Kuji Chagalia Friday. And I'm just really grateful that we had the capacity to do that. All right. Having said all of that, to my friends, I don't know what it is today that gives you a sense of joy or gratitude or appreciation, but whatever it is, I want you to hold on to it, cherish and nourish it, and sprinkle as much of the juicy goodness of it as you possibly can into the lives of other people. And that, my friends, is our moment of gratitude.